you get appointed to be the social secretary for the Obama administration.
I knew fairly early on that I wouldn't be there very long.
Really?
I could feel it. I was the first Black female social secretary.
One of the biggest controversies that hit the press was there were some gate crashers. I can imagine the amount of pressure that you might have felt. Take us back to that time and how you really felt during that period.
One of the Secret Service said, hey, I know what happened.
You leave the Obama administration and become the CEO of Johnson Publishing Company. You said that the Obamas put in your mind to move into the ethnic market.
There is no billion-dollar Black cosmetics company, and that's a shame because we spend billions of dollars on cosmetics. We talk a really good game, but most of us are still on the plantation.
Welcome to Vaught Empowers Talks, where we don't just scratch the surface, we dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential change makers. I'm your host, Brandy Harvey. But before I introduce my guest for today, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss your daily dose of inspiration and motivation. But without further ado, I get to introduce this powerhouse of a woman who is sitting next to me. Desiree Rogers is the first CEO and co-owner of Black Opal Beauty and Fashion Fair Cosmetics. She is the former CEO of Johnson Publishing Company. Rogers was appointed by President Barack Obama as White House Social Secretary, repositioning the White House as the People's House and implementing 365 innovative events during her time in the administration. Named as the top 50 most influential people in the multicultural market by Women's Wear Daily, top 25 women to watch by Crain's Chicago Business, top 75 powerful Blacks in corporate America, and the top 50 most powerful African-American businesswomen by Black Enterprise. Rogers has created a lane for herself in the worlds of politics, government, business, communications, and public relations. Desiree believes there is no easy work. That's why it's called work. Vaught Empowers Talks. Welcome CEO, mother, disruptor, rebel, warrior, and legacy protector, Desiree Rogers to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope I can live up to all that, girl. I really do.
I think
really
you
do.
already have.
I mean, can I have that? I need that to introduce myself.
Listen, I tell people they can take me on the road with them. Listen,
I would love that.
Listen.
Come on.
It's a pleasure to have you here. You are such an accomplished woman. You have done all the things that people aspire to do when they talk about success. But you were this little girl from New Orleans who knew that you always wanted to be in charge.
This is true. I am from New Orleans, and I come from a family of entrepreneurs and educators and coaches. And so that's quite a combination if you think about it. My father was a teacher for his career, then ran the teachers union. So he was also a little bit of a rebel. Then wound up being the president for many years of the Zulu crew. If you've been to New Orleans and Mardi Gras, you know it's the largest Black crew that's out there since 1916. Louis Armstrong was their first president. And then my mother and grandmother started a daycare business. They saw that women were working outside of the home. They decided, well, where are their children going to be? So they started a school called Glapions Academy. And so I think that, seeing all of that, I couldn't help but be a little bit rebellious. I couldn't help but say, you know what, it's not so bad to be in charge. You got to work some late hours, as I saw my mother and her mother doing. But I thought, wow, you know what, I'm going to blow this coop and I'm getting out of here and I'm really going to go for it. And I just like to run something. Someday. They were like, do you want to be of this? I said, I don't know what I want to be. I have no idea. I'm a kid. I just want to run something.
Yeah. But you knew you wanted to get out of New Orleans, and you said that your life was pretty much mapped out between Wellesley and Harvard. This was your path.
Well, it's so interesting, when I think back, it's pretty bold as a little kid to say you're going to go to Harvard, right? I mean, but I was like, well, where are the best schools? Well, that's where I want to go. So what's the names of them? Okay, let me choose one. And so as I got older, and I just recently was watching St. Mary's Academy, which is predominantly Black school, all girls. New Orleans is a very Catholic city. And so, of course, I went to Catholic school across town to the all-white school, but I'm so thrilled with what's going on in St. Mary's. Two of the young women just created a theory around trigonometry and resolving a problem that we're going to send them, the whole school. I want to send all of them skincare products because it's so important that young women know how to take care of their skin. But having said all of that, I just think that I just had that in my head. People call it a, what do you call it? A board, I just had that in my head, and I just wasn't going to quit until I got it done. Luckily, 2 cousins older than myself. One had gone to Yale. The other one was at Wellesley, and so they kind of sat me down at the appropriate time and said, hey, you're not going to go to Harvard undergrad. You're going to go to Harvard graduate school. We don't know which one yet, but let's just get you into Wellesley, and then you could take it from there.
I love that that was mapped out for you, because so often when we look at different families, we look at communities, that's not really the picture that we put out for our Black families. And so for you to say, this is like, I'm going here, I'm going to this Ivy League, and then I'm going to go here for graduate school, there was a real plan. Yeah.
Well, and, I could have been disappointed, right? I could have not been accepted, I mean, for sure, But I think what was important in our family is that we were surrounded, my brother and I have a younger brother, surrounded by educators.
Yeah.
And so being surrounded by educators, that was our job.
Yeah.
So as children, your job was really to do well in school. My brother would have a different version of doing well in school. He was very happy when I left. And he was
like, the bar has been lowered.
Oh gosh, you know what? I won't tell you the names he called me, from olive oil to whatever, she's the studious one. But I think that, having that bar set that way, I was talking last night to someone, and I said, even though my grandparents only had an 8th grade education, they were constantly testing us. Add these numbers. Now, they knew how to add the numbers, right? But they just wanted us to feel empowered as young kids that we could do it, and then they'd give you the praise.
Yeah.
I think as young people, it's so important that you have some praise, that you have a foundation that is invested in you.
Yeah.
And I was so lucky to have 3 of my grandparents and both parents, and to have them be supportive.
Yeah.
And so many young people, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was always, okay, what's she going to do next? They were like, helping me out, doing research to help me in French class I didn't know what to bring. They said, bring some French food. My grandmother did, though. She was like, girl, we're going to do a quiche Lorraine. That's what we're going to do for those people. Watch this. Instead of peach cobbler, I know how to make a quiche Lorraine.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what that is, but okay, let's bring it. So, you had support from family members. And I was the only girl on both sides. So that maybe gave me a little extra support.
Oh, yeah.
Surrounded by men.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that just lends itself to the boldness of all the choices and the career paths that you've taken. I mean, you get out of college, you go to work at the Illinois Lottery. Mm-hmm. And what you created at the lottery was really significant. I mean, a multi-billion-dollar, endeavor that you took on.
Listen, it's so funny because I was called to interview for a position in the new governor's administration. And I thought, do I really want to work in government? What would they possibly have for me that would be interesting?
Yeah.
And I went and I thought, oh, he's just starting. There'd probably be 2 people there to talk to me. It's like a room of 20 people. I looked around the room and I said, you're not here for me, are you? And they were like, sit down. I said, oh, this is a real interview. And I kind of blew it because I thought I was very quick to say, well, you're not going to use me as a Black woman to sell lottery tickets to Black people that, have a wish and a hope on something that is very rare that you win.
Wow.
And because they asked me about the lottery and I was like, oh no, I can't do that. And then I went home and I'm like, are you a fool? This is for you. It's marketing. It's operations. If anyone's going to be responsible talking to people, it will be you.
Yeah.
So I crawled back and I said, that lottery thing, that could maybe make some sense if you guys are still interested in talking to me. So that's how I got it.
Wow.
And I was 29 at the time, and the governor really was anti-gaming. He liked horses. And so the whole idea was, how can you generate additional capital for the state without you're not going to get any new games, Desiree. And so one of the things we did was we created Mega Millions, which is still a game today, I'm happy to say.
Yeah.
That's mine. And then we also embraced marketing and promotions around the instant tickets. And so we created the NASCAR ticket, we created the Caesar's Palace ticket, we created the baseball ticket, we created $5 stocking stuffers. So we did all of these really unique and fun things. I would go to places like, those are my lottery players. Why are you guys in the airport? And they're like, we're waiting for Carnival Cruise Lines. Okay, Carnival Cruise Lines. Hello, it's Desiree. Can we do a ticket together?
Oh, wow.
You know, so I was constantly looking like, what did my players want? What did they like? And so part of my whole career has been taking mature businesses and refreshing them.
Yeah.
You know, how do we make them new again?
Yeah.
How do we make certain that the consumer is excited by the lottery? So we took our instant games from 300 million to 600 million.
Yeah.
So that was my big claim to fame.
Yeah. I mean, a great claim to fame, which puts you in position in government in Illinois, which kind of lends itself to this, you know, small senator, up and coming senator, who would eventually become the president of the United States, President Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. And you get invited, you get appointed to be the social secretary for the Obama administration. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that totally, I mean, you're coming from working in energy, then working for Allstate. Now you're back in government. Mm-hmm. And so what loop did it really throw you for?
Listen, I think that, you know, I had known the senator as I was working on ensuring that people that maybe didn't have the means, that their gas stayed on.
Yeah.
In Chicago, that's very important during the winters. And so I really got to know him through working on light heat programs. That's what it's called. And so, and I knew him through my ex-husband, John Rogers. His sister, Michelle, had gone to Princeton. He recruited them to Princeton. The brother was recruited, Craig. I actually knew Craig before I knew what would become President and First Lady Obama's. You know, I had to think about this because I was really at a point in my career where, as my brother would say, girl, you're rolling. You were rolling. And I was. And I said, you know, most of my immediate counselors said, do not go. Mm. They said, this is not for you. You like a meritocracy. You don't know how to play this political game. You're going to get there and just do your work. Yeah. And that is not going to work for you. Yeah. And they said, they said, don't do it. Why would you do this? And I dug deep and I said, well, why would I do this? And there's a few things. One is, number one, you know, supporting my friends. Yeah. Number two, it's historic. Yeah. And number three, the opportunity to serve my country. So those were the three things I held on to as I went day by day doing this job, which is probably one of the most difficult jobs that I ever had to do. Not because of the work. We figured out the work in 3 weeks. That was part of the issue, right? It wasn't that. It was just everything that was going on around us, and being that non-political one, that my work will speak for itself, attitude, that didn't work there. Yeah. You said this was like a 6-dimensional chessboard. You know, you were always running, always on the go. But you enlisted some help because Trish Baldridge, you asked her to be your mentor when you first started. Who was the social secretary for Jacqueline Kennedy? In my mind, you know, I thought, you know, remember, I'm from New Orleans. There's a lot of pageantry and celebration. And anyone would say we know how to do parties and food right. Yeah, absolutely. Right? No one's going to New Orleans and say, oh, it was so boring. I can't even believe I was there. You know, you might not have believed you were there, but if not for those reasons. You might not remember that you were there. Exactly. And so I'm bringing all of that to the White House with me. I am thinking, I'm a business person, so I'm thinking about what their story has been to Americans and how they want to present to Americans. Diversity, value-oriented. Everyone should be included. Inclusion, equality. So I'm thinking, how do I interpret those things into the work that myself and my team, that what we were doing? Yeah. And I couldn't think of a better person than Baldridge, because she did the same thing. Yeah. I mean, he came in at a young Catholic, you know, Irish. You know, they were so young. We don't realize how short a period they were in the White House and what an impact they made in that short period of time. The whole idea of Camelot. And, you know, I just thought, we need a Black version of that. What should that Black version be? And I also thought, like, no matter what, I'm not dumbing this down. I'm just not going to do it. They are going to be the best of the best. And that's the way I progressed through the period that I was there. And I knew fairly early on that I wouldn't be there very long.
Really?
I could feel it.
Really?
Because I was doing things in a very different way. I was the first Black social secretary, female, and I literally was telling people where they were going to sit. I really wasn't, but that was what people thought. And so people think, oh, that's so much power. And I think that, you know, they were new. Everyone's new. And you think, like, you don't grow up to know how to be president, okay? And you come into a bureaucracy and an organization that's literally telling you what to do. And there's, you know, some pushback on that, you know. And the team, you know, has to, like, try to navigate that for the principals. And so one of the things I think about when I think about what was happening there was that it's like the Super Bowl. There's Republicans and Democrats playing against each other. The thing that I didn't realize until about 2.5 months in, there's some R's on the D team and some D's on the R team. And so that's a constant thing that's going on. There are no breaks, no timeouts, baby. We don't do timeouts. And the audience is the press. And so that's the pressure. I think I lost 15 pounds.
You said this was the
skinniest
thinnest you've ever been.
Because I get home, even though I was working with food or whatever, I was like, I don't think I should be eating the food there. You know, I don't know that that's appropriate. You know, I met every celebrity there is. I have no pictures because I was like, that's not appropriate for me to standing over here taking pictures. And so I tried to be as cognizant as I could of what might be embarrassing to the principals. You know, and never, ever, people are like, but I did. I met everybody. But you don't have one picture of me. Ever. Nothing was posted. And now is a different day, right? Because this was year one. This was day one. This was first Black. This was all eyes on. And so I think that for me, I'd be so tired at the end of the day. I've never cracked so many eggs. I was like, I could just eat a boiled egg. You put the water in, you fall asleep, and explodes. I was like, oh, shoot, better not do that anymore.
Oh, wow.
So let's just not eat.
I mean, I remember when you came in, and I just remember being, really in awe of you because you were this beautiful, stylish, sophisticated
Girl,
woman.
don't say it. Don't
honey,
say it.
Listen, yes, you were, honey. I was like, and listen, as the girls say now, ate down, honey. You was eating down every day, you know? And so you were always so stylish. You were always so composed and poised. And so we wouldn't have seen, you know, because you were kind of like the duck under the water, you know, or you can't see how hard you're working, you know, and all the controversy that is coming your way. But during your time there, one of the biggest controversies that hit the press was there were some gate crashers. And I can imagine the amount of pressure that you might have felt or the intense kind of, you know, all the spectators spectating during that time. You know, take us back to that time and how you really felt during that period.
You know, I mean, I was often, and am often asked, what lesson did I learn there? And that's what people ask, right? And it took me years to figure out the lesson because, you know, contrary to anything, and I'm not here to start talking about what we did and didn't do, that's unimportant. I think what I decided at that moment in time was, you know, I really did want to go in front of the congressional hearing and talk about what we had done. That would have been a huge mistake. You can see what's happened with people going in front of the Congress and having a hearing. It's never fair, okay? And people more recently, Black women included, have lost their jobs around this. So that was a smart, but that was the emotional reaction. That wasn't the reaction that I really should have been thinking at that time. And so I got it together, and I really thought about, why did this occur? Not why, but how do I really think about this, and how should I be thinking about this in a less selfish way? And so one of the keys was really reassuring. The team that I had was very young. Their parents were calling me and saying, what did my child do wrong?
Wow.
And I said, absolutely nothing, sir or ma'am, that they did everything right. And so let's not blame them. This is politics, and let's remember where we are. And so please don't be negative with your child. Because some people were crying in the office because they were like, what did we do? Secret Service came in and apologized.
Because
and
they immediately
to
took
them,
the brunt.
Hey guys, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. I will tell you, 15 years later, I had a event for the VP. And one of the Secret Service said, hey, I know what happened. There was a robbery, and the guy at that gate actually ran over to attend to the woman that was being robbed, and that's how we missed.
Wow.
That.
Wow.
So imagine
wow.
finding that out 15 years late. But the point is that it's not always about you.
Yeah.
You have to dig deep and figure, what is this really about? And what support should I be lending? And what should I be saying and thinking and doing? How should I be conducting myself? And that's what's most important. What was most important to me, certain that I was not doing anything to escalate the situation, and that I was secure enough to know what I had done and not done.
Yeah.
And not thinking, oh my gosh, I did this horrible thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's all about, good work is bigger than you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to be mature enough, strong enough, and committed enough to the real reason you went in there, and focus on that as opposed to they did this to me or something happened to me. It wasn't really about me. And I think the benefit, what I learned is that was going to be really important for me to invest in my community coming out of the White House.
I mean, and that's what you did.
That's what I learned.
That's what you did, because you said that the Obamas really kind of put in your mind to move into the ethnic market.
Right.
Because you weren't in that space before.
No, I was working in corporate America. I never even thought about working in my own community. But when I came out, I thought, you're trained.
Yeah.
As they say, the little kid in the help, you're smart enough. You can get this done. But I think we put so much pressure on ourselves in our own communities because we don't want to disappoint.
Oh, yeah.
We think oh my God, if I make one mistake or this or that, it's my
You're going to
community.
let all black women down.
I'm
The whole
everyone
community.
down in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can stand the pressure. I don't know if I can do it. And I just said, Desiree, you're going to do it. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I'm like, you're crossing over.
Yeah.
You're going to cross. You're going to find a way to cross over and to continue the work that the Obamas did so well: inclusion, diversity. Everyone belongs.
Yeah.
The People's House. How do you become a part of that movement? You're ready.
Yeah.
And so that's what the experience did for me. And I'm going to tell you, we had some of the best parties ever.
Yeah.
We took that China, we mixed it up. They're like, you're mixing up the China across presidents, Republicans, and Democrats? I am. We thought through all of that. So we didn't use the same China.
What is that? Mixing up the China?
So there's China from previous presidents.
Yes, right.
And they're in a big case. First of all, they never wanted us to use them. I'm like, no, we're using them. And so lots of times you don't have seating for 100. So I said, let's start mixing them together. So, your plate might be from Eisenhower and your plate might be from, a Democrat.
Wow.
Kennedy's.
Wow.
And so they matched, they told a story, but we went to every detail because it's inclusion, right?
Yeah.
And so we're not going to just use Democrat plates from Democratic presidents. I mean, people probably don't know that amount of detail.
We don't.
But we went through everything that we could do to reinforce the Obama's values and beliefs.
Wow.
The Easter egg roll became a lottery.
I
knew that from my lottery experience.
Listen, I went to the Easter egg roll. I did go to the Easter egg roll.
But you probably wouldn't have gotten in had not, well, maybe you had connections, I don't know. But my point is, it used to be you had to line up, first come, first serve. We made it a lottery, and so we had representatives from all 50 states. We
Oh, wow.
also created an experience of 2 hours instead of you being able to stay there all day,
Yeah.
which meant we could increase fourfold. So instead of 3,000 people, we had 34,000 people.
Yeah.
That was all us. We did all that.
I mean, I think that attention to detail has served you so well in every move that you have made across your career, because you leave the Obama administration and then you go and become the CEO of Johnson Publishing Company, which is a family-owned business, which already comes with its own layers and layers of stuff, and you implement things there that had never been done before.
Listen, like I said, I wanted to do something in my community. I could think of, we have these iconic, historic businesses that have come from our community, and so many of them have fallen to the wayside. And so I thought, well, let's see what I could do here. And so, we instantly start beginning work on digital. Publishing certainly has seen its day from a print standpoint. And so trying to, figure out, like, how do we move from print to digital, and how do we make this viable? How do we make this relevant?
Yeah.
How do we continue to tell the story with so many competitors in the marketplace? What do we do with this archive of 5.2 million photographs of African Americans since 1942? Well, now it's at the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
So everyone gets to see it. That's the point. And then, of course, Fashion Fair, which I had in my wildest dreams, could never imagine that I would be humbly sitting at the helm of Fashion Fair today.
Which I love the story
It's
because
just like, who knew?
it's a full
I
circle
didn't.
moment, though. It's a full circle because when you were at Johnson Publishing, you thought that you gave them the idea of maybe they should sell the company, and they weren't ready.
They weren't ready.
And then it comes back and it's an auction and you purchase it.
Listen, I mean, I actually said, let's sell off the publishing, which we did. And then let's sell off the archive, because we spent years archiving the archive. And you can't imagine. I mean, when I got there was boxes. There was Muhammad Ali mixed with James Brown, mixed with Aretha frying chicken in the kitchen. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, I can't go in there because I won't work. I'll just be like, I'm like, who else we got in here? What else? So I never went in there.
Yeah.
But we did get the archive organized, and I thought, like, that you should sell this because it will give you the money you need for cosmetics. Because that's really, and we're talking, 2010, that's really where the money should be put, because that's where industries, I think, could be sustainable. And I actually even recommended that they buy Black Opal.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
I was like, Black Opal is so good. The makeup is so good. Buy Black Opal, then you'll have prestige and mass covered. No. Anyway, so
it wasn't their
sparkle
time.
dust. I don't know. I left Johnson Publishing, and I spent 2 years thinking and also really pursuing the purchase of Black Opal.
Yeah.
Because the gentleman that created it did not want to sell it.
Yeah. I love when you pursued this man for 3 years.
3 years, baby.
Same restaurant, same table,
same drinks.
Same drinks.
Same drinks. Some of I have to pour a little out over here while he's keep drinking.
Yeah.
And so, one day I show up at the restaurant. He always had his business colleague with him. So 2 of them, Italian restaurant. I show up and the owner's not there. So I'm like, the waitress comes over and she says, we're praying for Mr. Nikos. And I thought, I'm not going to say anything because it's not my, And so the business partner says, he's decided to sell it to you. And I was stunned. I was like, me? What? What? I think I need a double to kill for this one,
Because this is 3 years of asking.
3 years of asking.
I want to buy your company.
Please, you come work for us. I already been to the White House. I know that I am a circle and this is a square. No, thank you. Those women were looking at me when I went. I was like, no. No matter what white coat I put on or what flat shoe I had on, it was not gonna work. No, what rag I had on, no. I've been behind that curtain before.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I said, sir, I just have to say, I'm not gonna be able to do that. And I just kept I had a friend in Chicago. He had bought numbers of companies. He goes, this is the one you want. You just stay after it. Don't give up. My daughter kept saying, are you ever going to work again? I mean, what are you doing? This is my daughter. I'm like, I know, I'm working. Well, how much longer are you going to be working on it? I think you're playing around. I'm like, I'm trying to get one company. Anyway, the good news is Cheryl and I were able to buy the company. Now, when he said he would sell it, of course, I was like, oh, shoot.
I need
how
some
much
money.
is that going to be? And, well, wow, I think I have to get this money. That was the second part. But I think what really got us is he passed away not long after that. So he kind of decided on his deathbed to sell it to me.
Yeah.
But there was a whole bunch of shenanigans, as you can imagine, of him deciding, was it in the will? I mean, where I literally was like curled in a ball.
So how long?
This is going to happen. Just,
How long did this take? How long was this process?
After he said he was going to, probably like at least another 6 months.
Okay.
Something like that, and we had to zip up our gorilla suits and go in a room and kind of get jiggy. We are buying this, and these are the contracts that have been signed. Let's go.
Yeah. And you set out to raise the money. You go out to raise the money. You and Cheryl, your business partner, you all go and you go into this investor meeting. And you're like, we're going to ask, but, they might not give us all the money.
Right. We didn't know this person.
Yeah.
And our lawyer said, this is a waste of time. I don't even know why you guys are going to this meeting. And I just said, you need to be quiet, and we're going. I'm putting on my skirt and my jacket, my heels. I'm out of here. So you guys can do what you want, but I'm going.
Yeah.
And he said he'll take the whole position.
He said he will invest.
He would
all
just
of
take
it.
the whole position.
Yeah.
Dang it, we should ask for more money. God, dog it, Cheryl. And we get
Maybe
back
we
in
didn't
the,
ask
we get
for
back
enough.
in the SUV, and we're like, wait, what? Did they say? What did they did? What? We're like in stunned.
Yeah.
We're like, did they say that they were going to take the whole?
I mean, you
We were done, girl.
I mean, that is so, because most people think that when they're raising capital, it's going to be this long, arduous task.
Well, we got lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
What helped you? Yeah. What was the helping factor in you being able to solidify this in one shot?
I think we were lucky. I think he was ready to do something like this.
Yeah.
I think that we had a good story. I mean, at the time, we were talking about Black Opal. And so we had no idea that we would have an opportunity to bid on Fashion Fair. So it was all about Black Opal and all about creating this mass brand, all products under $20 that we could, make into the next whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's what we went in with, very positive, very, anxious to get started. And, the products still are, they're tremendous products. And so I think that now we are raising money again. And it is, this is day one, actually. It is. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I would love to raise money from Black women. We need to own these businesses, and we need to own them. And we also are really the consumers, and our friends are the consumers. So think of that power of owning a part of business that you are actually growing the revenue line. Because you care now, right? And you care because you want to support that business. You own a piece of it, but you also, these businesses are both not just makeup companies, they're our history.
Yeah.
And we can do good, whether it's showing young girls how to take care of their skin with products that were tested on us with a Black dermatologist and are made in the US of A, where you go to the line and many of the people working look like us.
Yeah.
Black and brown people on the line. So you're supplying jobs to it's just a full circle. And some of us have the means to be able to make $100,000 investment. And if they lose it, not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, be a part of something that we take over. There is no billion-dollar Black cosmetics company. And that's a shame, because we spend billions
Yeah.
of dollars on cosmetics, but we haven't been able to garner ourselves, organize ourselves, feel comfortable enough. All good reasons, right? All good reasons when you look at our history and what we've been taught in this country about our own beauty, about investment, about trust,
Yeah.
about taking a chance,
Yeah.
taking a risk, about our own power. You know, we really haven't embraced that. And so my one hope, what I'm trying to do is have us embrace that and really be able, as Black women and men, we're not going to refuse any guys, and we're working on a men's line, but to embrace that power and take it and take this company.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah. What's the first step that most people can take? Because they may feel like, I don't have the means, I don't have that $100,000. Hell, some of them don't have $1,000 to invest in something. So what is that first step?
Buy the product. Support the product. And so we know from our research that Black people say that they want to buy from Black-owned companies. That's what we say. But if I look at the stats, only 2.5%, now that's including Black-founded companies that have now been purchased by large white minority companies, only 2.5 of the purchases are being done by Black people in the beauty space.
Wow.
With our companies. So we talk a really good game, but most of us are still on the plantation and have not crossed over to even try the Black companies that are out there that are supplying product specifically for us. And so, you know, there's all kinds of comments. Oh, those are old brands. I'm like, how old do you think Gucci is?
Right.
Or Chanel?
Right.
Or Christian Dior? I see what you got on your shoes there. How about creating and expanding our minds to even believe that 50 years from now, there is a Black Opal in a fashion fair owned by thousands of Black people?
Yeah.
You know, and it's the next level of everything.
Yeah.
Right? We have to start somewhere. So the first place is heading over to Walmart and getting some Black Opal. Or my other friends that are there. Do your research. Make certain that they really are Black-owned companies. So that's another thing. And so I'm all about advocating for all of the Black-owned companies, majority-owned Black, in the space. And I would like to see us keep majority-owned Black in the space. Now, we can't do that if we're not getting support from our own communities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so buy something, try it. You don't like my brand, go try the next Black brand.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to like my two brands.
Yeah.
And so want to see you at Walmart or Ulta picking up some Black Opal, and I'd love to see you at Sephora, Macy's picking up some fashion fair.
I mean, because we have fashion fair here. You've gone through a whole rebranding of packaging products, what it looks like, what it feels like. You're constantly asking yourself, what would Eunice do?
Yes.
And Eunice Johnson being the founder,
Yes.
along with her husband. And so do you feel pressure as a legacy protector?
I do feel pressure. I feel pressure from every side. I talked about one is that we just don't show up. So that's one pressure point. If we showed up, let me tell you, I would get some sleep here, you know? Be like, gosh, I mean, I sit with friends and they whip out and I'm like, excuse me, what is that?
Wow, yeah, yeah.
Are you feeling that comfortable what is that? Oh, Desiree. I'm like, girl, we got that color. It's called lace.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it. When?
Yeah.
My daughter's like, Mom, tap it down a little. You're bothering people. Okay, so that's one thing. I think it is important that we maintain the history and the legacy. I mean, there was no one like John Johnson and Eunice Johnson.
Yeah.
Many of our young people, they have no idea of that
Who
history.
Yeah.
They have no idea why the brand was started. The brand was started because no majority-owned company, the ones that exist today, were interested in deeper skin tones.
Yeah.
Now they are.
Yeah.
Why? Dollar signs. Okay, dollar signs. And so, but what do? We're running over there instead of supporting, again, our own. You know, do you know who the products were tested on? Is there a Black dermatologist that's looking out for the skin issues that you have?
Yeah.
Did you have the most incredible, Sam Fine, colorist and undertone master creating the shades? I can match any beige to black person.
Yeah.
I am confident of it. Without you looking gray, they always want to make the dark girl look gray.
Yeah.
And a light-skinned girl is going to be orange. She's going to be orange. And so, I just look around and I'm like, ooh, I can see what brand I know it's not mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so let's beautify.
Yeah.
We all want to be all that. We got the nails, the hair, but somehow we mess up sometimes on the skin. We think we got it.
Yeah.
But do you really have it?
Yeah.
As my brother says, your neck matching your face, girl. What is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I am encouraged. We are doing something in New York later this month, and we're recreating the boudoir of Mrs. Johnson. So how you step into a booth?
Yeah.
We're creating her boudoir. And so you'll step into her boudoir, and we'll try to subtly give you a history lesson.
Yeah.
So there'll be pictures on the wall. There'll be books. What does the fashion fair girl look like today? I think she looks like you.
Yeah.
What is she reading? What art is she interested in? What podcasts is she listening to? What is she wearing? What is she saying? What is she involved in? And so we want to give women the inspiration to be all that.
Yeah.
To truly be that fashion fair woman that is unafraid of herself, that doesn't apologize because she's wearing Olay orange on thick lips.
Yeah.
Who is not worried about, creating a contour that accents her high cheekbones, with a deep shade. We want all of that. And so Fashion Fair was inspired by Mrs. Johnson. This was the inspiration. Fashion, glamour, and beauty of Black women. Everyone wants to be diverse. We get it. We want to be diverse among our shades. People say, well, this brand has 40 shades. We have 20. Go count the 40, and you tell me how many belong to our community.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's going to be close to what we have, okay? And so we're not trying to be something for everyone. We're not racist. If you would like to try our lipsticks and our color cosmetics, and if you happen to be olive tone, come on by, because we got you. But we also added Hot Topics. And the reason we added Hot Topics, that's the modern spin on what Mrs. Johnson created. And that modern spin is Hot Topics. And our first one is breast cancer. I am a breast cancer survivor. Yeah. And one of the things that we've done, we partner with the American Cancer Society. And the first thing you're going to see us do shortly is we know that Black women are getting breast cancer much earlier, before 40. We also know that they are dying 41% more than their white counterparts. And we have to do something about that. And so Fashion Fair is going to take the lead in trying to ensure that we get 100,000 Black women to sign up for the research so we can figure out what the heck is happening here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're going to continue on what we're calling hot topics, topics that matter to us, and we're a safe space for people to discuss, this particular issue. But we're going to keep going. It's not going to just stop. That's our first one, and we recently did a 10% off of our lipsticks and 10% going to the Black Women's Initiative.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to continue to raise money for the things that we think are important to our community, whether they be that initiative or the Fashion Fair Spelman Initiative, or with Black Opal making certain that young girls know how to take care of their skin.
Yeah. I love that these initiatives are so near and dear to you, because as a cancer survivor, you learn earlier in your career, before you even went to the White House.
Right. No, listen, I had cancer before 40.
Before 40.
I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so many issues. When you're younger, there's so many issues that you may not have to deal with, child bearing, all of these things that come up if you have to have radiation or chemotherapy. Those days of having babies are gone, baby cakes. I'm like, what? Me? What do you mean? I know I'm going to be able to make it through, and have whatever I want to have after this, even though I had my daughter.
Yeah.
And everything did start working again. And they were like, we got to stop this because my cancer was estrogen driven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so even with this, right, when you talk about with having cancer and surviving, is there a such thing as balance? Because you said you were committed to winning at work, and now you're like, the work can wait. So how do you kind of find some balance in your life to prioritize your health and your wellness, but also running a multi-million-dollar company?
Listen, I think when you've had a scare like that where I was running too hard, that was right before I was promoted to run the $2 billion energy company. I actually got that promotion right after I finished my treatments. And so when you're pushing it too hard. Your body tells you, and you have to stop. The one advice that I would give anyone, I used to just have like Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus on my desk and Tylenol in my desk and Pepto tablets in my desk because I didn't stop. I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. This is pre-COVID, okay? So let's not get all crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I can make it, and Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus is an amphetamine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm like, wow, I'm ready to, let's, what else we got to do, But now, if you're not feeling well, you really should stay home. Take care of yourself. The work will be there. Rest. And so, for me now, I will rest. I will take moments. I'm not ashamed to say, if I'm on the road and I have a break, I could take a nap, maybe. Usually I'm watching CNN, but that's my pretend nap. And so you have to listen to your body. Everything's going to be there, and you also have to be honest. If you can't do it, you simply can't do it. If you can't make it, you just can't make it. And sometimes you can't make it because you're doing something for yourself, like having fun or being with people that support you and encourage you and that you just like laughing with and hanging with. And as me, having a little tequila with.
Yeah.
You cannot lead a life that doesn't allow you to lead a life.
Yeah.
And your life is all about curating that life that you want and not just being propelled and pushed through by others based on what they think you need or want or desire. And so, that's my balance. People look at me, you were here, you were there. Yeah, but you know what? I wanted to be here or there or whatever. And that doesn't mean that some periods of time I have to push really hard. But believe me, I'm gonna get my time in. I'm gonna shut it down, and that phone is not gonna be answered.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be turned off, or if it's my mother, I'll pick up. You know what I'm saying? But and I'm gonna do something silly. I love watching Law and Order. I've seen every episode, but it relaxes me.
Yeah.
It was what I watched during my cancer treatments, and it relaxes me. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's gonna do this, and that one's gonna let's watch it play out. Yeah, there it is again.
Just how I remembered
Just
it.
how I remembered it.
Yeah.
She's gonna say this.
Yeah.
But it's just it's foolishness, but it's my foolishness.
Yeah. Outside of tequila and Law and Order, what brings you joy in this season of your life?
Well, I love acupuncture.
Oh, nice.
I really
this
like
is a first on the show.
Acupuncture. I love yoga and Pilates. I'm supposed to be exercising, but I don't. I try to do walking. I love travel.
Yeah.
But mostly, what I've decided at this point in my life is to surround myself with people that bring me incredible joy.
Yeah.
And they're all very different. In many instances, they shouldn't be together because they're so different.
Yeah.
And I make time for them. And so, and I just laugh. I do it, and many of them I've known for many, many years. And so it is a opportunity to, just be together and to, feel free and not be guarded and not worry that something's going to be repeated. I really meant this and it, so stop it. Okay, all right, that was not all right,
Yeah.
Anyway, and just to be yourself. I think everyone deserves to just be themselves.
Yeah.
Because we're all such wonderful people. We should just engage it, and be around people that embrace that.
Yeah.
And now my mother's 86, so I spend more time in New Orleans than ever.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm
I
headed
bet.
there, obviously for Mother's Day, but I like to spend time with her because she's just so wise and so smart, and she knows me.
Yeah, she knows you.
Yeah.
You just recently came off of doing the commencement address at Harvard. And so what was that message that you gave those young people?
You know, oftentimes we postpone what I call our best, our good work. We know people will say, well, when I'm this age, when I retire, when I'm 30, when I'm 45, I'm going to start doing this.
Yeah.
Let's do that now.
Yeah.
Let's start now. Why are we putting off doing the good work that makes us feel good and probably is our best thinking of what our own legacies are going to be? And so the message to the students, you can never start too soon to do that good work. You know, John Lewis used to say, good trouble is necessary trouble. And sometimes you are going to skirt against something that maybe you're not going to come out completely unscathed.
Yeah.
It's okay as long as you're true to what you ultimately want to do, it's not want to be. We are who we are. There's no wanting to be. I want to be. What does that really mean?
Yeah.
You are who you are. Embrace that. Protect that. But at the same time, don't wait too long. You know, we're seeing so many people taken away so early.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Let's do that right now. Maybe we can't do it full time, but let's make certain that we're feeding our souls and that we are allowing ourselves to be who we really are every day.
Yeah.
I try to be who I am every day. You know, like it or not.
Yeah.
I am not going to change into something else to please anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah, I love that. As we close out this interview, one word you're committed to in this season of your life.
Black women.
2 words. Go ahead.
Sorry.
You a rebel, Desiree. I knew you was going to have more than one. It's okay.
You know, I could have had even more than that. No, I am committed, to me.
Yeah.
And to me being committed to Black women.
What do you want your daughter to know about you that she doesn't know about you?
She knows everything.
She knows everything?
She knows everything.
Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, I have a very close relationship with my daughter. She does know. She knows me sometimes better than I know me. So I don't know if she doesn't know. I mean, if you gave her something, she goes, no, she didn't say that. She said this. So I don't know that I could tell her much more than she knows. I'm at a loss. I am truly, at a loss. She knows me, and we spend a good deal of, time together,
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm proud of her. She knows that, though.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what she's going to do.
Yeah, because she's in the art world.
She's in the art world, and she's, in the strategy space with Autodesk. So, she continues to be a better version of John and I.
Yeah.
And so she is teaching us every step of the way. So maybe that's it. I'm in awe of how much she teaches me.
What's the lesson she's teaching you right now?
Just even how to work even harder and smarter. And giving me a window into what I say and what is heard. And how do I adapt that to really be what I'm trying to get across. She often says, that was a little strong. And I just talk that way. I may be a little loud because I'm excited, and she's like, maybe you could tone that down or mention it in a different way to allow the person to maybe, these are my words, not be as intimidated. Sometimes that 5'10", almost 6 feet with heels, properly dressed, properly coiffed, articulate, self-assured. People get nervous.
Yeah.
People shake.
And listen, that's
okay. We don't need to. Well, what are we shaking about?
Yeah.
But people do get a little. But it is what it is. The package is what it is.
It is. Listen, and the package.
The package is what it is. And my mother's like, You just have to understand what people see when you come in the room. Coming from my mother, who is not a fashionista, does not like any of that.
Really?
Oh, God, no.
I would be so surprised.
Hates
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Hates it. I'm like, Mom, come on now.
Wow.
It's like, look, I put this on for you. I said, I know, and I'm so happy, but we're going to change those shoes, girl. But my grandmother was a fashionista.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
She was definitely, we went to all shopping, all this, all that.
Yeah.
She was all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
well,
are all that.
Well,
yeah.
I'm some of that. Some of that. She was even, oh, wow.
Yeah.
8th grade education, tremendous reader, tremendous businesswoman. She really took care of her family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to go to Harvard without her.
Yeah. How has your faith carried you on this journey?
I was raised a Catholic. I would say I am not a practicing Catholic, but I do believe. And I think that, within the core, it just, you have to have something, right? You have to have something that you feel like is looking out for a little bit, and every night when I lay down, I say, did you do good today? Or what really wasn't your best showing? And how are you going to improve that tomorrow?
Desiree Rogers, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. You are phenomenal. I mean, your career, your life is a testament to the legacy that you've protected, but how you have left your mark on the world. So I'm so excited for everything that Fashion Fair and Black Opal has in store for you in this season. Vault and Powers Talks. This is another good one for the books. Listen, I just can't make these people up. They're just amazing, okay? Listen, I'm so excited for what's to come for Desiree Rogers. You guys, thank you. Before you leave here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Share this interview with somebody who I know is going to inspire and bless. Until next time, I'm your host, Brandy Harvey. Eat well, give a damn, move your body every single day. Peace.